the old farm. If you're interested in helping us make that decision, check out your donations. Allocate your donation dollars at gamesdonequick.com. Trithan sends in $50. Longtime watcher, first-time donator. Been watching for around 6 years now. I finally am in a place to donate to this great cause. Thank you for the amazing years of content, and thank you for all the great runs. May there be many world records in our futures. And Grumpy Kitty sends in $50. My husband and I make sure to watch every year. It's become a tradition in our household. This is the first time we have been able to donate. Thank you all so very, very much. And I'm being told we're ready to go for our next run, so let's roll right into it. This is the Marble It Up run featuring Hatchet302.
Hello, I am Hatchet. I am a speedrunner of Marble It Up and the current world record holder in this category. And I'm joined by my good marble friend, Agedude.
That's me, I'm Agedude. I am a tool-assisted speedrunner and marble speedrun historian. And without any further ado, let's get started.
Yeah, I'll go to the first level here. And I'll count down from 3. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's roll. Welcome to Marble It Up. This is a physics platformer, indie physics platformer released in 2018, where the goal, of course, is to roll your marble from the start to the finish of each level. Now you can see we're not doing a whole lot of rolling. Hatchet likes to jump all the time, and that's just to reduce the effect of friction. That's kind of the most basic speed tech. Luckily, you can just hold down the jump button to jump automatically, which is very, very handy in this game. One of the optional or objectives you find in some levels is these gems. Hatchet has to collect all 5 gems before the goal appears, and then he'll be able to move on to the next level. And the next level is where we're going to see our first shortcut.
Yeah, so here on Up the Wall, it's a 20-second level where you go around in a circle, or it can be a 4-second level by taking this little skip right here. And we're going to follow it up with Super Jump, which introduces this power-up, quick little shortcut, and a boost all the way to the finish. And another power-up, the Super Speed, which I will use to accelerate to high velocity, smack into this rock, and get up here to the finish nice and clean. And now we are moving on to Stay Frosty.
We're continuing to jump on this ice, and that's just because the ice is so slippery that you get actually more air control in the air than you do on the ground on ice. And this is the level Onward and Upward, the last level of Chapter 1. You see if Hatchet picks up these pause button items. They're called time travels. He actually slows down the in-game timer for a few seconds, and that is very important for individual level speedruns, where timer manipulation actually plays a really big part. However, of course, because this run is being timed in real time, it's not going to be relevant here. If you know the Marble Blast series, this game is a spiritual successor to Marble Blast, also inspired by Marble Madness, and the independent developers who made this game have experience working on those series. A lot of people will also compare this game to Super Monkey Ball, and for sure it has a lot of the same momentum-based gameplay. There are a few key differences. One of them is free camera movement, also direct control of the marble rather than tilting the level, and, of course, the ability to jump. Combine all of those, and the movement in this game is very, very fun, very satisfying. There's a good weight to the marble, and it's also, thanks to the physics being so realistically simulated, very, very punishing and unforgiving on a lot of these tricks. Yeah, now we're getting into Great Wall.
Yeah, and Great Wall is a good example of just conscious level design from the game developers that encourages skips. So rather than going around the bend to get the gems, I instead make a nice sharp U-turn on this wall here. Unfortunately, I forgot to jump. So we're gonna do that one more time. And I will grab the first gem, jump across the wall to the second gem. Oh, Missed it a little
Bit
bit.
of a marathon
That's
curse
okay.
going on here. That's okay. We've got it out of the way now.
All right, there we go. And then we'll just do a quick little wall hit there, and then we'll super speed into the goal. And this will introduce the next level, Bump in the Night, which introduces, well, bumpers, which will like to throw you off the map if you're not careful, but if used properly, can actually be quite helpful for getting some shortcuts here and there. And moving on to Over the Garden Wall, this is our first introduction to a polybrush level, which you can tell by all these smooth hills here. It can create some challenging gameplay, as it can be difficult to see which faces will send you the right direction, but they provide some very smooth gameplay. Now we are on to Wave Pool.
And Wave Pool is another example of a gem collection level. And it is very fun to watch, but the next level is very special, so I'll talk about that for a moment. It's called Big Easy, and despite being very big, it is, of course, very easy. In fact, there is a way to beat it that was discovered almost embarrassingly recently, that you can literally just hold forward and jump from the very beginning and get a diamond time, which is the fastest medal for the in-game.
Yep.
It's completely automatic.
As you can see, I completely let go of the mouse, which is what controls the camera, and I'm just holding W and spacebar right now. So we have some time for donations while we wait for this level to finish.
My pleasure. $10 coming in from Marble Enjoyer 22. Marble game is best game. Been waiting for this run all day. Good luck, Hatchet, and congrats on the recent new world record. That deathless run is not far off. Could even happen today. Good luck.
Well, not anymore, but
A little late for that.
$20 from Skullfire58. It's amazing to see this game at GDQ after all the years of knowing you guys. Proud of you, Hatchet. Just don't pull a gluten on Strato. Heart.
I'll try not to.
Yeah, don't do that.
Try not to do that. $20
Maybe one
from...
more donation.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. $20 from Hiron. Sup? Did you go surfing on Wave Pool? Did you wipe out past the goal? Either way, I hope the rest of the run is smooth rolling, my friend. Good luck, Hatchet Man.
Good luck, Hatchet Man.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Great. That was Triple Divide we just did, and now we're on to Thread the Needle, which is the last level of Chapter 2. As one of our donors alluded to, a deathless run is considered kind of the holy grail of this game. It's only been done once, and that was quite a while ago, where a lot of the contemporary strategies had not yet been implemented. So the difficulty of this game is kind of hard to understate, especially when these tricks are being performed first try as consistently as they need to be for that to happen. We're finishing up Thread the Needle here, and Hatchet just needs to climb to the top of this tower to grab the gem, and we're actually going to change gravity using a gravity surface and super speed down to the finish. That finishes up Chapter 2, and Chapter 3 is where the run really begins.
Yeah, this is one of the shorter chapters, but also one of the flashiest. Almost every level in this chapter has some sort of big shortcut that skips a good portion of the map. As you can see here, rather than going all the way around, I'm just gonna turn around right there and jump straight to the finish. And now we're on to elevator action, which has a very cool intended shortcut by the developers. I will show off now.
Yeah, these quarter pipes set up just the perfect line for these gems, although it's very difficult, often missing a gem if you're not careful. And without this skip, this level's all elevator and no action. But with the skip, it's actually quite a lot of fun. That brings us to Speedball, where there's an unintended shortcut. And this one is optimal only for RTA. We get a couple of hard bounces off those pillars and right into the goal.
Yeah, now we're on to Icy Ascent, which has one of the more recent route additions to RTA, where it went by quick, but I used 2 super speeds to launch up super high. Now we're on to River Vantage, which will have a shortcut I will attempt. No guarantees I land it, though.
Practice was looking good.
Oh, nope, that's a no.
We have a really cool backup for this skip, though, and Hatchet's going to just bump off the pillar ahead of us. That'll take us all the way to the top level.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ooh, nicely done. Good save.
That was close.
The momentum in this game can really get you killed sometimes because even slowing down is as much of a challenge as speeding up. It takes a lot of dedication to, you know, avoid falling off in those situations. And if you want to talk about dedication, this is off kilter. Just look at this skip.
Ooh, a little scuffed, but we make it work. We make it work.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, one of the great things about this game, since launch, it's had a practice mode which allows players to rewind anytime during a run. It's not valid for a speed run for individual levels or for full game, but basically what it does is it has built-in save states for the game, which means the game has been able to progress very, very quickly. Even though this game only came out in 2018, the amount of tricks that runners have been able to learn using in-game built-in tools for learning those tricks is pretty astounding. And it's also led to some really cool tool-assisted speedruns right within the game.
There we go.
Finishing up Totally Tubular here. And we're on to Time Capsule. Good example of a level that has takes advantage of these gravity surfaces as well as the gimmick of timer manipulation, which again, we won't be using in this category. But the next level is going to be very exciting. If you've seen this game before, you already know. Cog Valley has a very special skip we call Coggers, thanks to its namesake emote, and it is one of the flashiest skips in this game. So let's just sit back and watch.
We got it.
There it is, Coggers. Let's go.
That skips
Coggers
most
first
of
try.
the level right there. It's normally like 40 seconds to beat normally.
Yeah, that brings us into Bumper Invasion. That's the start of Chapter 4. And Chapter 4, maybe a little bit less skip-heavy than Chapter 3, but of course, just the amount of time you can save and lose by optimizing the movement is just as much as any other game as far as the platforming is concerned. Very simple controls, but every corner you can cut will save enormous amounts of time. At a lot of risk, though. Now we're coming into Braid, and a couple of cool abilities here. If we hop around, very cool jump pattern for that, but the finish is what really makes it special. Just got to bounce off this rock on the rear and back into the goal.
There we go.
And here is Sunspire. This is one of our a little bit slower levels, you might say, thanks to the moving platforms. Moving platforms are very, very fun sometimes, especially when you cannot ride them. That's why Hatchet's going to be trying to set up a very cool skip here where he's going to bounce off of one of the moving platforms. Needs perfect timing, but if he's able to land it, it will help him to skip a cycle.
We got it.
Very good job. Very good job, Hatchet. I think we have some time for a few donations.
My pleasure. You're definitely getting some love, Hatchet. I'm loving to see some of these coming in here. CM sends in $50. Shout out to Hatchet, Age, and the Marbled Up community for showcasing this excellent game. As the appointed old man of the speedrun community, it's so awesome seeing the best marble game at GDQ. Good luck to Hatchet on hopefully another RTA world record.
Might be a little tight.
Savadra sends in $5. Really excited to see my first really excited to see my first speedrunning game at the big event. Very proud of Hatchet, Age, and the community for all of its strides for getting us to where we are and for rolling hard for a great cause. Good luck on the run, and depending on when this is read, you're doing great.
Nice. We'll take a brief break from donations as we do one of the cooler skips here in Chapter 4, but then we can get right back to them. This is Retrograde Rally Skip, and just requires Hatchet to turn his camera almost backwards.
There we go.
Using that super speed to get up top. And
Nice and smooth.
we could have a couple more donations rolling in.
Rolling in. Cats sends in $30. Make sure you take a stay and sip, and watch out for bananas.
Very nice. Very nice.
$250 coming in from Evan. Thank you for all you do, AGDQ. Brenda sends in $15. For Jenny, keep fighting cancer. Keep winning. And oh, I like this one. $10 from Eris3094. My daughter Eris and I would like to give our first donation. You are all amazing.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for all those donations, and another huge shout out to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. We're doing this all for the great cause, and very good to see Marble It Up community reaching out with some love for them. Now we're coming into Acrophobia. Hatchet's nice little skip there to start off Acrophobia. And very soon, we're going to be seeing a couple of... oh, no.
There's the bumpers,
yeah,
how you don't want to see them.
Yeah, those hazards can be helpful sometimes, but you definitely don't want to touch them off the side. Next up, we have Dire Straits.
Yeah, this is a fun little level. The route here is lovingly called Dire Straits. It's a pretty niche speedrunning
I don't think they're
reference.
going to get that one.
Yeah. Not many speedrunners would understand what Dire Straits means.
No.
It's a fun skip. Ooh, let's hit that.
Right.
basher.
Oh, that was close. Yeah, you really brushed up against that one.
All right.
Nice cycle. All right, and then the next level is going to be doing a bit of a special route here that's going to get the trophy. Actually, every level in this game has a hidden trophy, and when you collect it, you basically unlock a new marble
Here it is.
skin for your gameplay. There you go. Normally, they're a bit out of the way, so speedrunners don't go after them, but this one we can collect along the way. Now, here we are on Diamond in the Sky. This level is designed based on a very popular level from Marble Blast Ultra called Black Diamond.
Oh,
Features very similar
it
geometry
happened.
and unfortunate, unexpected,
That
what
was
we
the
might call
banana
ramp
that
glitch.
Katz has alluded
Yeah.
to earlier.
The dreaded banana, also known as ramp glitch. Not entirely known how that can happen, but this is what was supposed to happen.
There we go.
The intended route. Or intended by us, at least. We're coming into the end of Chapter 4 here on a pretty good pace. And coming up at the beginning of Chapter 5 is going to be Newton's Cradle. And Chapter 5 is a little bit longer. Unfortunate death there on
missed
Diamond in the
ramp I
Sky, but
wanted to
luckily
hit.
we had a checkpoint on the final stretch.
There we go.
There we go. And now we're starting out on Newton's Cradle. Got a fun little pop off the first cradle here. And once we see that, we'll be ready for a few donations. Nicely done.
There we go.
We have any donations?
Absolutely, we have a few here. $58 coming in from Calligraphy. Here's to a great run from an amazing community member among us. You're on a roll.
Dang it, Calligraphy. I had a feeling you were going to sneak that in.
Yep.
Here's one here I think you were looking for. Fletch sends in $31.36. Cheers to Hatchet and Agedude for bringing Marble It Up to AGDQ. Proud of you guys.
Thank you, Fletch.
Thank you,
Huge
Fletch.
shout out to the entire Marble It Up development team. They have a great presence in the community, as well as just providing a place for us to congregate and connect.
Yeah. And that donation amount was kind of interesting because that is actually my PB in this category, which is 31
Yeah,
minutes
it
and
is.
36 seconds. That this Tuesday, actually.
Yeah, just 2 days ago. Very clutch to be pulling that off during warm-ups for AGDQ. Maybe one more donation here.
Sure
Maybe
thing.
in a little bit.
Yep, tell me when
Gotta
you're ready.
explain this big skip first, if you want to. HD.
Sure. Yeah, okay, so this is Staying Alive, and it is my favorite skip in the game. We do have a little bit of a wait until we get there, but that's because this is the auto-scroller of Marble It Up, or so the developers would like you to think. There is actually a special technique developed first in tool-assisted speedruns with the rewind, finally picked up by individual level runners, and then in full game, the consistency has gotten insane. I can't even describe the inputs that went into just doing that turn alone. And look at this launch. Perfect hit off that edge.
We got it.
First try, stay and skip, AGDQ. Let's get some hype in chat for that one.
This is Gordian here. Very complicated route where you just turn left.
Yep.
At every intersection,
it's a maze.
You go left.
You just turn left.
The NASCAR marble it up.
That's right. We might be able to sneak in that one donation here.
I have a short one here. $10 from Irid. First dono of the event because this is an incredible display of skill. Absolutely loving it. Also, massive props to the whole GDQ team. Less than 3.
Less than 3. Thank you so much.
That stay and skip is so very important to land at the top level, because if you land it, it saves 40 seconds. But if you miss it, you lose 40 seconds.
That's right. Another important skip coming up here with Crystalline Matrix. Very slippery ice level. If you set it up properly, you can bounce off this crystal and skip a good third level.
Almost.
Very close, yes.
Had an unfortunate bonk there.
Yeah, this
one more time here. There we go.
It's a skip that absolutely anyone can struggle with.
There we go.
Much better. Yeah, again, thanks everyone for those donations coming in. It makes such a huge difference for the Prevent Cancer Foundation and all the amazing work they're doing over there. This level is going to be Contraption. We just wait for a moment, and Hatchet could go all the way around a very long and complicated series of moving obstacles, or you could just bounce off this wall.
There we go.
Nice, first try. All right, and this is uphill both ways, which on its own is not especially remarkable. There are gems on the bottom and top of this level. I need to switch it with a gravity surface. But Hatchet's gonna do here a little something special for AGDQ called a reverse controls glitch. Normally something speedrunners avoid at all costs, and not too difficult to avoid, but if you hit a gravity surface and flip 180 degrees all at once just right, you can have all of your controls get inverted.
Oh, we got it.
We got it. Okay,
I'm pressing S right now.
I can't wait to see if you're able to finish this level with reverse controls. Grab a checkpoint for safety. Yeah, good plan.
Whoop, up.
Okay, this is exactly as hard as it looks.
Yeah. May not look like it, but this is everything.
Very disorienting when this
says not to.
Yep. All right, you got up the bumper hit.
Up. There we go. Not too bad.
A little bit of a time loss, but totally worth it for the marathon.
It was worth it. Now we have Flip the Table here, which to many new players can seem like a daunting level with all these rotating gravity platforms. But thankfully, there's a pretty good route that the community has found that very consistent and will get you a good time almost every time, as long as you can catch this cycle to head down under.
Down under. Shout out to the entire Australian Marble It Up speedrun community.
All one of them. We love you, Hiram.
All one of them. The next level is Vertigo, and this is, if you play this game casually, you will recognize Vertigo instantly. This is a huge difficulty spike in the middle of Chapter 5. But just look at all the edge hits and all of the very interesting routing and strategies that have been incorporated here. Quick drop off, but there's a checkpoint, fortunately.
There we go.
The skips that have been incorporated and Hatchet has effectively mastered are absolutely mind-blowing if you're seeing this for the first time after playing the game casually. Because even jumping on these rails can be really risky. The way that jumping works, it sends you out parallel to the surface you're touching. So if you're touching one of those rails and you jump at all, it can actually send you flying off sideways instead of upwards. Now we're on Warp Core, which is one of the first real maze levels. If you don't know where you're going, you get lost on this level. It could take 10 minutes easily, but Hatchet's got a pretty good route here. Picks up all of the gems, not necessarily changing gravity to the correct side when he drops down on those gems. A few tricks and ways of going about this that will get us to the end quite handily. Just catching that goal hitbox. And then this is Pit of Despair. Setting up a trick here that, if successful, will be the hardest trick that's performed in this entire run. Oh, very close. That'll be a never mind. But the nice thing about Pit Skip is that it is relatively safe in that most of the time, even if you don't get it, you're still not going to die, and it doesn't have any real time loss. So there are more difficult runs. There are more difficult routes that we could put into place. However, that one has some relative safety to it. And that brings us out of Chapter 5.
Now on to Chapter 6, the biggest, longest, and toughest chapter in the entire game. This is a very sharp difficulty spike compared to the past 5 chapters. Whoa. Uh-oh.
You're in for a paddling.
Yeah, literally.
Unfortunate. Just barely went past that checkpoint without picking up the checkpoint hitbox. Otherwise, that wouldn't have been too much of a time loss for that death. This is Danger Zone. Danger Zone being the first level in Chapter 6. It can hit pretty hard. Especially the ending of Vertigo is one of the hardest parts of the level. Fortunately, we have a way of actually bypassing it by doing a shortcut. Hatchet's going to manage to get up this loop without using the super speed that was provided, saving that till the end, and he can use that to bounce off of a bumper and fly into the goal. Very fun, very flashy, and actually easier than beating the game casually on this level.
Oh, almost backed it up.
Oh my gosh, that was incredibly close. And the reason why it's easier is because of the fact that he started on that checkpoint. Not to say that it's very easy, but the fact that it's so forgiving compared to so many other tricks that could end up costing you 20 seconds or 30 seconds, especially in Chapter 6, where some of the longer levels will do that. So when I say easier, that's certainly what I'm referring to. We're on Platinum Playground now, and this level is very reminiscent of the multiplayer mode Gem Hunt, which came out of the Marble Blast games and is coming to Marble It Up in a future update known as Marble It Up Mayhem. It's already on beta in Steam, and the multiplayer is very, very fun for that. It's also on Apple Arcade and is coming to all console platforms. There are other multiplayer modes as well that are coming along.
Well, there's almost 60 new official levels, too.
Yeah, it's going to have 117 levels instead of 60, so... and a lot of them are created by community members as well. Maybe I'll mention a little bit more about that later. Or, in fact, one of the next levels after Radius, which is coming next, was created by a community member.
This is Radius, the quote-unquote best level in the entire game, and you won't question it. Otherwise, Fletch's wrath will pour down upon you. But
it is a very pretty level.
Very pretty level, yes.
Just visually and
has a bit of a meme status to it as well.
For sure. See, the gravity platforms actually turn around a certain radius, if you will, and that's how you manage to get around this helix. And the ending, if performed correctly, could be very, very smooth. Nicely done, Hatchet.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Almost went too far.
Almost went too far. This is Head in the Clouds. For sure, it is a level that was made by one of our community members who started out making custom levels. We have like 700 custom levels on the Steam Workshop, which is very cool, and a lot of them are very high quality as well. So much so that the developers decided to bring some of them on for making levels for future updates, including this one that was came out in 2019.
And this ending is notorious for new players. It is brutal if you don't know the timings and the jump pattern here. But thankfully, we have a way to kind of shortcut it. There we go.
It's still very hard.
That is a hard
job.
Yeah.
Some triple force, lots of moving platforms here. but we're looking forward to the next level, which is called Escalation. And Escalation is absolutely a crazy level, one of the longest levels in the game, but it also has the longest shortcut in the game, saving well over 80 seconds if you do a combination of the 3 shortcuts on that level, known as the kickflip. And you'll see the first kickflip coming up right here. It's unique to this level because of these platforms that flip over.
Nice.
First one right up to this super jump, and then the second kickflip is the big shortcut because we use a super jump in conjunction with a kickflip to skip like more than a minute full of content.
And it just looks so cool.
It just looks so cool. It's so satisfying as well to land that. And one final kickflip up to the goal. Finish out a very great level.
And this level is Confluence. It's very much a maze level based off of the mazes by MC Escher. We're just gonna go around grabbing these 6 gems here. While I'm doing that, the next level, Olympus, is the longest level in the game. It's over 2 minutes long, and what a fun little thing I like to do in my stream is to have chat predict the final time down to the 100th. So my average completion time is anywhere between 2 minutes and 2 seconds to 2 minutes and 10 seconds, barring no deaths. So if you want to go ahead and predict, go for it.
Put in your predictions.
And I will do my best.
Do your best. My prediction is going to be a 204 flat. But while we're waiting for this very long and very challenging, unpredictable level, let's listen to a few more donations.
Got a few here right for you. $10 coming in from Honey Hyena. This game brings me back to my grandpa's house. He was always good at marble games. Let's beat cancer. Very cozy, I like that. $30 coming in from Svensational. Absolutely loving this Marble It Up run. Might have to pick up this game myself. Shoutouts to all those night shifters from a former night shifter listening and watching along to GDQ on these long nights. Keep your chin up, gang. Thank you, Sven. Oh, I like this one here too. $50 from Sharkbait DLS. I grew up playing Marble Blast Gold on my parents' computer with my sister. So cool to see its successor on the GDQ stage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Age, that came out 20 years ago this year, am I right?
I think
that
so.
That sounds about right. Yeah, it's a very old game. It precedes Monkey Ball or so many other 3D platformers that have come and made their mark on the game community.
Awesome. Can I squeeze in one more?
Sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we've got almost a minute left.
Yeah.
You betcha. $250 coming in from Artisanal Greasy Spoon. Thanks for all the contents over the years. This donation is long overdue. I'll make sure not to make that mistake again. Thanks to all the runners and staff that make this event a blast. And $20 from Anonymous. It says, still stuck in this darn marble. I'm sorry, Anonymous. I hope you're not screaming too loud.
Yeah, it gets a little jostle in there, especially at high speeds.
Yeah, definitely. If you're inside a marble on this level, you're taking some hard hits. That's for sure. If
you're interested in checking out this game or potentially speedrunning it, definitely check out the speedrun.com page, speedrun.com/MIU. And there you can find a link to the Discord, where there's just a great community of people who are more than willing to help new runners figure out the game, learn strats, all that fun stuff. All that fun stuff.
That brings us to Tangle, which is the second last level of the game. It is kind of intended to be one of those gravity maze levels, but speedrunners have found a way to beat it without changing gravity at all. Just by grabbing this super jump and bouncing up through the gem and onto the goal. And yes, that is as hard as it looks. Stratosphere is our final level of the game, and Hatchet's favorite level, I know.
By far.
Very well known for this level.
Yeah, this level is just so much fun. It's so beautiful, and I just love how I'm going at top speed across the whole map and flying across with the featherfall. It's just so... It's really what Marble It Up is all about, to me.
Going fast.
Yeah, coming up here, I'm going to be doing a cheeky little shortcut that'll skip about half the level.
Yeah, so Hatchet actually needs to fall upward toward the gem, which is above him. So we're going to hit the wrong side of this gravity platform twice. And that actually has us falling in the opposite direction instead. First of all, get ready on time for when we get to the goal. It's still a few seconds away. I want to take this chance to mention that we have a Super Bowl full game race coming up on February 12th. It's going to have live casting, and it's going to be a really great event for everyone involved. If you can beat this game in less than an hour, you can qualify. And if you ask me, that's a very achievable goal for anybody who wants to seriously get into this game.
Yeah, especially if you talk to the people in the Discord. They'll be more than willing to help you out with strats. One final shortcut there.
Nice shortcut.
And we're launching up into the finish. Yeah, thank you so much, GDQ, for allowing this game to be on the schedule and time.
It's been a dream for me and for Hatchet and the entire community for sure to be here on GDQ.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys did too. And I look forward to the next run on Oblivion. Have a good one.
Prevent cancer.
Welcome back, everyone. You are watching Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online. As we continue through our early Friday morning, I've got a couple more donations I want to read from you lovely internet people. Tam Servo sends in $25. Shout out to all the runners and the behind-the-scenes crew. AGDQ has been a huge lift this week. And $100 from... Hang on, it says $100 from Thank You. Comment reads, no anonymous, but comment very much. Oh, yeah, I understood that. I'm with you. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and AGDQ 2022 online will be right back after these messages. Don't you go anywhere. Don't touch that tab. We'll be right back.